Hear this story as the ancients once did, not written in ink alone, but spoken beside firelight, carried by veterans, senators, and frightened citizens who lived through the hour when Rome stood on the edge of extinction. Prologue: a world holding its breath in the year 101 BC. Rome was not the invincible empire we imagine today. It was a republic trembling under pressure, shaken by rebellion, corruption, and a terror marching down from the north. For more than a decade, rumors had spread like disease through Italy. They are coming, giants with yellow hair, whole nations on the move, unstoppable. They were the Cimbri, a migrating people from the cold northern world beyond the Alps. Alongside their allies, the Teutones, they had already annihilated Roman armies, not once, but repeatedly. At Arezzo, over 80,000 Romans died in one of the worst defeats in Roman history. Mothers in the Suburra whispered prayers. Senators avoided the forum. Farmers sharpened tools not for harvest, but for war. Rome feared one word above all others: extermination. Into this chaos rose an unlikely savior, Gaius Marius, a man not born of noble blood, but of iron discipline. Marius had reshaped Rome's army from the ground up. He recruited the poor, trained them relentlessly, armed them at state expense, and forged them into professionals. His soldiers marched with packs on their backs, earning the nickname of Marius Mules. But more importantly, he taught them to fight as one machine, and the Senate whispers followed him. It does. He is dangerous, some said. He is necessary, others replied. By 101 BC, Marius had already crushed the Teutones in Gaul. Now only one enemy remained, the Cimbri, advancing into northern Italy like a moving nation of warriors, women, wagons, and war chants. Their king, Boiorix, was said to be tall as a spear, golden-haired and fearless. He mocked Rome openly, sending messengers demanding land for his people and their children. Marius answered with silence. Instead, he marched north. The two forces met near Vercellae in the wide, sun-blasted plains of northern Italy. The land itself became a weapon. Marius chose the battlefield carefully. Open, flat, and merciless under the summer sun, he positioned his army so that the wind would blow dust directly into the enemy's faces. The Roman legion stood in disciplined silence. Iron helmets, glinting red cloaks, stirring shields locked pila ready behind them, fluttered the sacred eagles of Rome, symbols worth dying for. Across the plain, the Cimbri gathered like a living storm. Their warriors were massive, many bare-chested with long hair braided and lime-washed to stand stiff in battle. Their shields were painted with beasts and runes. Women stood behind the lines, standing on wagons holding spears, sworn to kill any man who fled. Boiorix rode forward and called out, "Are you Romans ready to give us land? Or shall we take it from your graves?" Marius did not answer. Instead, he raised his hand. The horn sounded. The Roman front surged forward, and then stopped. At Marius' command, thousands of pila flew through the air. Iron rain, the heavy javelins bent on impact, piercing shields and making them useless. Cimbri warriors stumbled, cursed, and threw away broken defenses. Then came the advance, shield to shield, step by step. The legionary wall moved like a living creature. The sun burned high. Dust blinded the northern warriors. The wind turned against them. Their charges lost momentum, crashing into Roman discipline like waves against stone. Steel screamed. A Roman centurion roared, "Oh, hold the line. For Rome. For your brothers." Short swords flashed in tight spaces. Brutal, efficient, merciless. The gladius stabbed upward into ribs and throats. The Cimbri fought with courage, but chaos ruled their ranks. On the flanks, Roman cavalry struck hard, encircling the enemy. Then came panic. As the Cimbri lines collapsed, retreat turned into slaughter. Their warriors fell by the tens of thousands. Ancient sources claim over 100,000 were killed or captured, a number almost unimaginable for the ancient world. Boiorix himself charged into the thickest fighting, refusing to flee. He died surrounded by Roman shields. Behind the battlefield, the tragedy deepened. Cimbri women, refusing enslavement, killed their children and themselves. Some hanged themselves from wagons. Others begged Roman soldiers for death rather than chains. Even hardened legionaries were shaken. One veteran later whispered, "We won, but the gods turned their faces away that day." When the dust settled, the plain of Vercellae was silent except for crows and the groans of the wounded. Marius stood among the fallen. He did not cheer. He knew what this victory meant. Rome was saved, not just from invasion, but from annihilation. Back in the city, bells rang, temples filled, The people hailed Marius as the third founder of Rome after Romulus himself. Yet power always leaves a shadow. His reforms would change Rome forever. His army would grow loyal to generals rather than the Senate. The path towards civil war, toward Caesar, had quietly begun. History, like a sword, cuts both ways. The echo of Vercellae, the Battle of Vercellae, was more than a victory. It was the moment Rome stared into the abyss and stepped back. Had Marius failed, Italy might have fallen. The Republic might have vanished centuries early. Latin law, Roman roads, even the future of Europe itself could have been erased. And yet today, few remember the name Boiori. Few remember the dust, the sun, the screams. But on that burning plain in 101 BC, Rome came closer to destruction than almost any other day in its long, blood-soaked history, and survived.